What's going on, guys? Gilly Writes Comics here, one half of the Geektastic duo, Capybara Godfather, creator of Galactic Rodents of Mayhem and the Call of the Void comic series, and I'm joined here with...
Hero Geek here, Ronald Christian, creator of Paragon Prime, the world's greatest and truest superhero. It's a comic book coming soon to Indiegogo, so look for that.
All right, guys, so we're going to talk about Jawbreakers. I had backed the Lost Souls campaign, and I read that initial volume, and I waited for Ron to read it just so we could, have a little dialogue as to what are our thoughts. I also did a video. I posted that on my channel, but we got Ron here for his insight. And Ron, what do you thought? What are your thoughts overall on Jawbreakers?
I thought it was. I mean, honestly, I thought it was pretty lousy. I was not impressed at all. I mean, it was this is poor writing. Richard C. Meyer just needs to improve his writing. I just thought it was not good. I mean, where do I start?
Because I wasn't crazy about the book either. My issue was just trying to, the pacing, just you're trying to understand the conflict, and the bad guy, good guy kind of dynamic, where you have this cool group of heroes, but no obstacle at all for them to overcome in any way.
It's not just. I mean, that's one of the things. Yeah. First of all, I don't know what their motivation is. I don't care about these characters.
Isn't their motivation money? They just there's something with the jewels, and that's all they care about.
That's all they care about.
Army, you'll have an army, but other than that,
there's
between the characters, there's no interesting banter. Or there's nothing.
Well, I mean, there is banter, but it's mirrored in just lame pop culture references and just
right. But there's no interesting dynamic or inner relationships between the team within itself.
I mean, Silkworm himself is kind of a giant jerk.
You actually know the name. I kind of like. Is he the main character? Is he the main
character?
Yeah. He's kind of
he's very unlikable. Why do I care about this guy? Why do I care if he lives or dies? I don't care if he lives or dies. You're not giving me any compelling reason why I should care about this character at all.
For me, I'm trying to think who is an interesting character. The only one I can think of, what's her name? Shashi, I think it's Shashi.
Yeah, but the thing is, here's the issue with Shashi. Why did she betray them? Why was she with this guy?
Right, and that's the only thing. Exactly. I know, but that's the only thing that makes her interesting, that she's in between. But if that's the only thing that makes any character interesting, and she has the let's just say the most triggered arc, or the most, she has the most layered motivation as far as when we're trying to measure motivations, we can't even gather from the main core. So it's she's in between both, and we're trying to figure that out. So that's kind of what propels her story arc. But even then, it gets muddled. It's extremely muddled. You can't really get anywhere because, again, you're trying to wonder why she is betraying her group. And it's just to even analyze this. It's just. It hurts.
It hurts.
I wanted to enjoy it.
Poor writing.
I just wanted to say I wanted to enjoy it because X-Men, X-Force, okay, Jawbreakers, Mercenaries. It's like you got a Navy SEALs with superhero abilities, right? It's that seems like such a cool idea, and for me, it's if you keep it as simple as can be, right? If you keep it as Super Mario Brothers, right? You had Mario, and who was his main adversary? You had Bowser, right? And we know what the motivation was. He wanted to save Princess Daisy or Princess Toadstool, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So it's here, I'm trying to figure out. You have there's cool ideas with this big King Kong-like creature. How did he get there? He opened.
Speaking of which, okay, so this is one part of the comic where they're driving in the jungle, and suddenly they realize they're driving on top of it, right? and then in the next panel, he's already up.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, that it's hard. It's easy to get lost in that little
It's like
turn page mix. Yeah.
There should have been a couple of panels or an extra page showing him rising out of the ground and them like on him like tumbling and falling off. It just went from one to the next, and that's where that's one of the reasons I don't think John Malin is a good sequential artist. I really don't. I don't think that's his strength. I think he's better at covers and pinups. Mm-hmm. But as far as sequential art goes, he's severely lacking, in my opinion.
Well, I know there's some good pages, there's some good storytelling flow within the Jawbreakers. As overall, I see where there's issues that get marred down, but I don't know if that's a script thing. I don't know if it's like, this page is like, okay, next page, they're already on top of the big thing, and he's just following. I don't know the dynamics here. I know there's some pages where the sequential goes real good, and then there's other pages where, again, it gets all choppy, and it's hard to kind of figure.
It's almost as if you're watching a movie and you notice a really, really horrible edit. Like it takes you out of it. Like, wait, that didn't look right. That was weird. That just didn't flow correctly.
Yeah, or if you accidentally skip forward by like a minute and not like the action, you kind of like, well, just what just happened there for a second. It's kind of like herky jerky. But again, so then we got this big monster here. Then on top of that, we have the African guerrillas, and I mean guerrillas like in guerrilla soldiers, the militia. And they're led by this cool-looking guy. He's a bad guy. I can't remember his name. He has 2 metal arms. I don't even know if he has 2 metal arms. Like his upper half is like.
Yeah, but what was his story? What was he all about?
I don't know his story. I don't know his motivation. He just shows up. He wants all the treasure that I think that's around or connected to the King Kong kind of creature, and then he kidnaps 2 of the members. But okay. If you kidnap the members, you feel like, okay, this is a bad guy. Some members of the Jawbreakers got to watch out. But it's like they're within themselves break out of captivity by cracking all the necks of the soldiers that had them. It's just like they were never in danger. No. The bad guys never even like menacing to the point where you take them seriously. He's only menacing to his own crew, but again, and this is where when you have a cool bad guy, right? Like, this is where it pays off, right? Like, no matter how awesome Wolverine was, when Sabretooth came in the picture, like, hold on, you gotta watch out, because as badass as Wolverine was, he couldn't mess around with Sabretooth, right? So, like, we don't have that showdown here, and it sucks so bad that the main bad guy, which is this, dictator,
he gets killed by
the dude in the chopper pile,
and he's like
effortlessly. So
he's like, oh, you think that an old helicopter can stand up to me, kill me, and then he just kills him, and like what?
Yeah, like that's so. Okay, guys, like I said, you have your right to enjoy whatever you want, and I'm not here to piss in your cereal. If you enjoy, just nice looking art that has bad pacing. With dialoge that's kind of like okay, entertaining, but really
poor character motivation,
character arcs, development that's shoddy. I mean, if that's what you guys enjoy, then by all means, great. I hold my comic book experience to a higher standard, and even if this comic is supposed to be based in the 90s, I mean, I get in the 90s some of the writing wasn't But we're not in the 90s, and not only that, you still have to bring a story that goes from point A to point B, where you have characters with goals and motivations. Even the bad guy has to have motivation.
Yeah, and that's an excuse I've seen on Twitter. I tweeted about this a little bit, and people, well, it's supposed to be inspired by comics in the 90s. I'm like, so it's that's the excuse for it sucking or for it not being as good as it could be.
There was no good comic in the 90s at all, right? Is that what we're going?
That's I mean, apparently they took their inspiration from things like Youngblood and Wildcats and things like that. And apparently those comics were really shallow with selfish characters who had poor motivations and all of that stuff. So I'm like, wow, okay. I guess that's what it was.
I don't know if he promoted that in his thing, or that's just what people are saying to like just make a defense. That's fine. All I know is there was great storytelling even in the 90s. I mean, one thing off the top of my head, Hellboy, wasn't that coming like in the 90s? That crap was ridiculous. It was like really good, you know. I mean, again, as a reader, there's an experience, right? You want to make an emotional connection somehow with the fictional characters you're reading. You want to find an attachment there. There's some parallels you look for. Why am I reading this guy? What? I mean, again, it's almost like even B movies, right? They still have some sort of character development going on, and I think even for a comic book, you need that.
Yeah, and let's talk about Shashi and Cuffs. Like Richard C. Meyer, you don't try to write romance because you're lousy at it. It was
they're romantic. It was
so bad.
It's almost like I'm a scantily clad black chick. I'm this blade black dude. We're just normally attracted. It's just like animal magnetism. We're just drawn to each other. It's like
and now we're in love, and now I'm gonna risk everything just for a chick I met.
That's cringe. If you guys talk about some of the bad writing and some of the SJW Marvel stuff, I give you that. But this was just as bad, and this wasn't even trying to be woke. It was just bad and just in its execution. And then Shashi, whatever she does, if she cares about whatever this guy Cuff is, his name is, whatever. And then this is if you want to go for bad pacing or the storytelling, or even if it's just a sequential flow. It's like 1 minute he saves her, and then like the next page, 2 panels down, she's getting killed. She gets choked to death. Didn't this dude just save you like in his arms, and he saved you? He negotiated your freedom. Like the bad guy's so cheesy. He's like, just I'll let Shashi go if you let me go. Okay, that works for me. And then 2 panels down, or the next page, she's getting choked out by the guy.
Oh God! I mean, what? The more you point out, the worse that this comic gets.
I'm not even going that. I haven't read it in about, I don't know, maybe it's a couple weeks.
Yeah, I just read it yesterday.
What I'm trying to say is, hey, I'll give props to Richard Meyer for building your platform. For being able to amass 10,000 backers. That in itself is incredible. But as far as being a credible comic book writer, I can't even do that. And even though I don't have that platform, I'm slowly amassing my platform. I'm slowly building my repertoire as far as comic books. And I gotta say that I know it's hard to judge peers, but it's like you gotta take writing lessons, get an editor, or even hire a ghostwriter. I'd say that's even a good thing. Or collaborate with a really strong writer. But it's because there's so many good ideas in Jawbreakers that I want to rip it completely. The thing with the King Kong creature's cool in that it came out through portals, and they're trying to get him back in the portal. That idea is really cool and unique. And I feel like you can get the motivations with the Jawbreakers team into maybe they feeling something with the creature. They want to maybe help it. I don't know, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I see what you mean. Another issue that I saw was the same issue I saw in Graveyard Shift with John Malin. John Malin has this weird thing where he has one scene where it's really, really gory and violent, but the rest of the comic isn't like that. I'm talking about the part where Knife Hands just chops up the gorilla guys. I'm like, really? Like, was this necessary? I think it was a little gratuitous, especially when it didn't fit the rest of the book.
And especially when, hey, these are kind of like the hero characters, even if they're anti-hero characters. You guys are chopping up these soldiers that are they're no threat. Right? Look at it, like, it's almost like it's like torturous in a way. It's like,
I thought it was a little gratuitous.
Like, really?
And then when you pair that along with the whole pregnant woman panel in Graveyard Shift, it's this weird thing where I think John Malin might. I don't know. I don't want to accuse or say anything, but it's a little weird. It's a little like.
Look, I'm all for action. I'm all for action. I'm all for gore. I'm with that. But again,
I know you're with
impact.
that.
You have to have impact. Even
it has to have.
weight behind it.
It has to be consistent. It has to be organic, and it has to make sense for the genre that you're going to use it for. Okay, for example, I read The Deep Dark. The Deep Dark is pretty gory, but it fits the tone, it fits the genre, and it's consistent throughout the entire story. You know.
What Ron is mentioning here is The Deep Dark. I did a 30-page contemporary Lovecraftian style story. And that's a 30-page, and guys, definitely look for it. It will definitely show you how you could write an effective Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 structure within 30 pages and make it work. Something that I wish Jawbreakers had, and I feel like, for all the potential it had, and for all it's good artwork and all that, but it's just the story it doesn't even get to the ankles on what could have been a great book. It's like. It's shambles. I mean, it's like if you walk into a house and the furniture's all in disarray. The refrigerators in the dining room, the TVs in the kitchen. It's just like it's stuff that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't flow. You need to plan things out better.
You have a toilet in the bedroom. It's just weird, man. It's all in disarray. There's
I read the other two stories. I know you didn't. But I did.
I didn't feel compelled to go any further. I feel compelled.
It's ironic. This actually brings up a point. The first story, I think it was called. What was it? The first story after it was Book 1 Remastered, right? Okay, so the artwork on that wasn't. It was kind of not good. It was actually pretty lousy, but the panel and page flow was really good. I have to say, it was better than John Mayo.
You read farther than me. After reading Jawbreakers, I didn't feel the impulse. I didn't feel the intrigue. I didn't feel a draw. I didn't feel anything. I want to go. And then
Jawbreakers. After that, book 2 was the drawn by Kelly Shannon, and that. I mean, the artwork and the page flow were amazing. I mean, I still hated the characters because it was just, But, okay, so essentially, Silkworm is just their own likable characters. I don't care about them. I read this whole thing, and if they all die in the next issue, I'll be like, oh, well.
Yeah, but the thing about unlikable characters is always something that makes you like them, even if they're unlikable. There's just something about them. If it's
I didn't find that at all.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, if I think of Zombieland, I think about Woody Harrelson's character. I mean, he's kind of hard to deal with, but the dude's just looking for a Twinkie, right? I mean, we could all relate to like wanting that Twinkie, or if there's something there that you could be like, you know what, he ain't that bad. I mean, he is an asshole, but you know what? I'll tolerate him because he likes Twinkies. Like, there's just something there. I mean, that's what writing is about. That's what when you build characters, you create these characters, and you kind of find a way to make them likable. If that's just who they are, you as a writer, you still got to find ways to have the reader, want to buy in on their journey. Because again, it's just like, what did I see? I got nothing out of that.
I have no interest. I have no interest in a future volume of this. I don't care enough to even read it anymore. I don't.
I already backed. I backed that book. I backed the Ironsides Volume 1 and 2. I read Ironsides Volume 1 and 2, and again, it's the same thing. It's just the writing is not good. The plot setup is not good. Just the structuring, the pacing. It's like it's in disarray. And for me, it's like I'm like I gave you 3 chances. I backed 3 of your books. I don't have any plans to back any more of this guy's stuff.
No,
not at all.
Although in the interest of being a little constructive, I know we've been kind of really ragging on Richard C. Meyer. I've heard that he wants advice on how to improve as a creator. So my advice is first of all, hire an editor. You desperately
an editor, and don't be afraid to not go with your first draft. It's almost like what we're seeing is just that rough first draft. Like you just write it together in however span that you write it, and you just put it and you just go for it. Like that's horrible.
As
a writer, you got to know. You got to constantly recut, reshape things, have an editor look at it, redo stuff, get other people
all the time. It's constantly evolving. It's constantly getting better.
Evolving document. So that's what I think he should definitely do. You have some good ideas. It's a matter of
okay. You need to do that. You need to improve your characters' motivations, make us care about your characters more, and do something that makes us care about them more.
Not only that, have a message. Every story has some kind of message you're trying to tell. I mean, we see Jawbreakers, all the mishmash they went through. Then at the end, we see the Silkworm guy and a picture of, I don't know if it's his daughter, I don't know if it's his wife. Quite frankly, I could care less. And I'm supposed to care about this next story about something with his daughter because of a picture. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to have a message. You got to really think about putting a story together that, you know, is coherent, where someone could read it front to back and get the character motivations, get the ambitions, get the message. Be like, you know what, this is where this message was. You know, use symbolism. Writing is such a powerful tool, so impactful that there's ways where you can get really intricate and meticulous. But we just got, you know, explosions and vibrant art, and like that's it, and it doesn't go anywhere. So
and also get an artist that can do better sequential art. I wouldn't use John Malin anymore. I would actually use Kelly Shannon, which is one of the artists that did one of the other stories. Kelly Shannon is the one that did Nora's Saga. He did another comic book I read that I really liked was Cosmic Crusaders. He's one of the best sequential artists that I've seen working in comics. He reminds me a lot of George Perez in that sense, where his sequential art makes sense, it flows, the pacing is phenomenal. It's really, really good. I would use him for future Jawbreakers instead of John Malin if I were producing.
Yeah. Either way, there's a lot of room for improvement. Although, you know, on a crowdfunding scale, you're good there. I would just say work on the storytelling, because, you know, you want to keep the backers. I know the backers, we have this, they're drawn to just the rebellion. You know, I'm not buying the, you know, stuff from the mainstream because, or at least what I'm getting from Marvel is all this. So I get that, you know, I get it, and I get you wanting to go somewhere and support something, and I'm all for that. But don't just hang on to bad writing or bad storytelling just for the sake of, because it's not the other stuff. Because there's still a lot of good stuff within that realm that's really good that you're never going to find. Because
I've seen and some people have made the arguments, well, if I had my choice of this or anything that Marvel and DC are doing right now, I'd rather have this. I'm like, why? I don't.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that. I mean, as much as I'm so disconnected from Marvel and DC, I mean, Ron can tell you, I'm very disconnected. Yeah. But even then, I wouldn't want the crap that I'm reading, because I've backed a lot of crowdfunding books. I backed upwards of 50 campaigns, separate campaigns. So I put my money where my mouth is.
I'm close to 30-something myself.
Yeah. And aside from that, I'm also a creator. I create comics. Yeah. So I talk my shit, but I back it up because I put out good shit too. People just haven't found it, and hopefully they will eventually, but I'm also building my brand. But what I'm getting at is that I support comics, and I don't want crap writing. I don't want crap. I don't want to settle for that. I mean, when you spend $25, $30 for a book, you want to be entertained.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be entertained by making these videos, ribbing on or ragging on or tearing down, another creator's work. I want to see it get better. So hopefully we can see that through Richard Meyer. Maybe we can see his evolution as a writer.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean,
if not, check out Paragon Prime. Check out Gilly's Galactic Rodents of Mayhem. We're indie creators that we're going to be putting out some good stuff. But yeah, so and there's a lot of other good creators out there. Definitely look out. So just search.
By the way, I'm not reading Iron Sights. I can't do it.
I don't blame you. I did my video on that. Anyone wants to check that out, just go to Gilly Writes Comics channel, Iron Sights, you'll find it. I wanted so bad to enjoy the book. I did a premise. You know, you can't go wrong with it, and it went wrong in every way. And even the second volume was just so much worse. It was just, Again. When I keep it real 101, I'm talking about bad guy, good guy. When you had Luke Skywalker, you had Darth Vader. You kind of know what their journeys are. You kind of know what brought them to Showdown. Like I said, Mario and Bowser, right? Ninja Turtles, Shredder, right? Like, I mean, you need that. And in Ironsides didn't even have that. It was just so confusing.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But yeah, I mean, I'm at a loss for words. I said what I had to.
I think I pretty much said what I had to also.
Yeah, we're not trying to. I mean, if it sounds like we're being negative, hey, like I said, we buy in and we create.
Richard, I want to see you improve. I want to see you write better comments.
Yeah, and it's important to have friends that aren't afraid to tell you, dude, this shit is crap. Sorry about my friends. Like Ron will tell me an idea. I'm like, dude, maybe you should try this, and maybe I'll run something by him. He's like, I'm not really feeling that.
And the thing is, though, I'll admit it's really, really difficult to take criticism, and sometimes you take it personally. Sometimes it really, really hurts. Sometimes you resist being criticized because you think you know better. It's tough. I struggle with it myself. Okay, a lot.
Yeah. You gotta put your feelings away. You can't take things too personal, especially this cancel culture. But if you can't take criticism, you're not cut out to be a writer.
Yeah.
I do my Call of the Void series with J.L. Giles, and I'm working on my second script right now, Blackheart Manor. And Joe he's reading it as I'm doing it. He's like, man, you know what? Here I feel like it went a little bit too long. I think we could cut this here. And I'm like, okay. Well, I'm like, all right. Well, I think we should do this then. He's like, okay. Well, and we'll go back and forth. I'm like, okay, good. And then I'll restructure. I'm like, hey, dude, we got to here in X amount of pages instead of the other amount of pages. Like, all right, great. So I'm able to take the criticism and work with it. That's part of it. So Richard C. Meyer, if you do check this video out, this is the Geektastic duo. We're definitely more than open to reading any one of your scripts, giving you some wholehearted feedback if you in fact do want some criticism. And as anything, I do want to see writers get better in their craft. I won't lie about that. And maybe if his writing does polish up, and we just hear through the grapevine that this is better, this got really good, maybe I might check out some more of his stuff down the line. But all right, guys, this has been the Geektastic duo. Gilly,
let's say goodbye to Darth Krell comic. It doesn't look like it's happening, guys.
Yeah, so we had a fan comic, a Star Wars fan comic, and again, we complain, but we put action we put our words into action, and we did our own fan comic. We needed 5,000 to make it happen because it's not for profit. It doesn't look like we'll make it. Does that mean our story will end? No, Ron and I will be back after we've built our own brands to the point where we have a following that will make this comic happen. And if we're not working with Disney already by then, we will definitely be crowdfunding Darth Krell Cometh in the foreseeable future. So that story is never going to go away. It's a passion project between me and Ron. Yep. And we'll bring it back, no?
Definitely. It'll happen.
Like any good story, I'm going to tell you right there, that idea it's on the internet. People are going to search Darth Krell. They're going to come around that comic. So if Disney takes that idea, I'll be like, hey, we had it first. We had it first. It will be forever marked in history. Just do Darth Krell.
I'm guessing we're going to get a lot of like, what happened to this campaign? Like,
No, not at all. I mean, because like I said, we still got other stuff we're doing. I got Galactic Going into Mayhem going on, my Call of the Void series. So it's not like I'm not doing anything. We got a little bit too ambitious, Ron and I. We got hungry. That's what it was. Let's be honest. We're a little bit ahead of our game. And instead of complaining, we put a project together. We put a pitch together. But we don't have the platform for Darth Krell coming, but it will come around. You can count on that.
For sure.
All right, guys. Till the next time, this has been the Geektastic duo. Geek out.
Geek out, guys.